is Silva. I'm a student here at MCC. I'm going to read a poem called Untitled by James. Where do I put this pain of mine? I can't run away, nor turn back time. College guilt gives me a choice to tell my story, giving me a voice. They are a whisper of humanity from afar, reaching errands behind the bars, a soothing ointment for my scars. Faceless angels unknown to me, offering encouragement and empathy, giving of themselves, their time and more, sending a glimmer of hope behind this haunted door.
My name is Alissa Moore. I served 23 years in the California State Prison System, 25 years total between juvenile and adult time. I came to this work because it was only natural for me, after fighting for my life, being in survival mode for so many years, to come out here and do the same thing for the women that I left behind on the inside. Subsequently, I came to work at LSPC. I'm an Elder Freeman Policy Fellow, 2 years running. I'm nearing the end of my policy fellowship in January. And I can just say overall, I'm very blessed to be here because I've been able to be a part of a larger movement and walk bills all the way from, conception to seeing them implemented. And that's like an unbelievable process that, like, in prison, I never thought I would be a part of, right? I never thought that I would have the opportunity to be involved in that way. And so that's what I've been doing since I've been here at LSPC. But more importantly, like today, I'm here to talk about the time that I served in and out of administrative segregation and SHU placement and the way that affected my education. It's really not a good system because it's not effective, right? It's not widely used and it's not well known. So like, people that are successful are highly celebrated and we're all cheering for them. But we're here today to talk about the ones that are left behind, because not that many of us make it, right? Not that many of us make it out of the system, and not that many of us make it to higher education while we're inside. The numbers are startlingly low. Well, I was just at a California correctional facility for women in Chowchilla, not within the last month, and what they shared with me is that they had over 200 graduates, but in a prison that at capacity can hold up to 4,000 women, that's not really a high number, and that's really not something that we should be proud of. We should be striving to do better and offer more, and especially when it comes to curriculums that are geared towards women, because the types of issues that we face are so gender specific. We don't face a lot of adversity, some would say, when in comparison to men's facilities. But as someone that served over 25 years on the inside, I would beg to differ, because as a woman, I faced a whole different dynamic of issues during my incarceration that inhibited my education. And no one stops to think. Everybody thinks that there's going to be SHU houses and ADSEG full of men. Nobody stops to think about the women, right? That they're equally full and they're equally bursting at the seams. And while it seems that the men have been fairly successful in advocating for themselves, women have not been so successful, and our numbers are not so high. So what is the hang up there for me? What I think it was is that a lot of the way the programming was back then was not conducive to people actually completing. What the programming education department was good for back then was producing good numbers. And if you can just get somebody to do better on a test than they did before, then you're doing great in the state of California's eyes when you're passing their basic tests, right? But for someone like me that did 25 years in the correctional system and was unable to pursue my education because of all type of collateral consequences of my incarceration, there's just no way that you can tell me that what they have is good enough, right? They take education routinely from people because while mail is a right, they are at their own discretion to pass things like educational materials within the prison system, because most of the educational materials that are issued through the prison system that people are able to access for some reason, if they are blessed enough to access them in the SHU or ADSEG, they're routinely taken from them, and they're routinely, books are damaged by officers, books are routinely just not issued, you know, if you can't meet time constraints for testing because mail is taking too long. There's all different types of ways that officers impede education. And not just that, like if somebody is in general population and they're trying to obtain education, let's say they have a disciplinary infraction for contraband, or 2 disciplinary infractions for contraband or fighting. Let's say they were boxing. That's one reason for them to be put C over C status or A over C status, which means that they would not be allowed to program. They would not be allowed to attend these types of self-help classes or educational programs because they are what's considered no privileges, right? So they're essentially saying that education is not a right, it's a privilege, and they are withholding it for all different types of reasons. I've seen mail shut down on the tier behind a staff assault. You know, at one summer we had about 18 staff assaults in the SHU and the ADSEG, and we didn't have any hot water for 3 months, so we damn sure didn't have access to our college books. The key issue I see, people that are in solitary have the biggest barriers when it comes to education. People that are in administrative segregation are already facing so much loss. They're facing loss of potentially not being able to see their family members and loved ones. Visiting is taken from them. Their food is even limited on what they can eat. You know, they have no way to make phone calls or only can write correspondence, a limited amount they are issued, and they're very under a lot of stress. And so they are the ones that I feel are most under attack when it comes to education inside the women's prison system. And I really think that it's essential to support places like College Guild and College Guild particularly, because if no one is fighting for the people that have the most severe disadvantage to education in our society, then who are we? If we're saying education is a privilege and not a right, who are we? Are we saying that one child that is born to these parents is more deserving and more entitled to an education than another child when they're just both beautiful children? It doesn't make sense to me, and I don't think it makes sense to anybody else out there.
My name is Nikita McNamee. I'm a student at MCC and I'm reading Imagine That by Dan. I write to you from a cave in northern Illinois. Welcome to the hold, the officer told me as he escorted me into my new home in administrative segregation, also known as solitary confinement. And then he curtly slammed the steel door behind me. Imagine that the relentless noise and light refuse to allow you any rest. Forget ever sleeping through the night. Imagine stress and anxiety so high you break out in hives. Your hair falls out, nails brittle. Forget deep breathing exercises, they don't work anyways. Neither does yoga or praying. Imagine receiving your College Guild homework packet. Imagine getting lost in the notes and the questions. Answering questions using a device called a seg pen, deep into the night. Forget everything else I just said, and imagine giving one man a rare ray of hope and purpose. Imagine that.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jesse Clyde Burleson. I am the founder of TIP, T-I-P-P, the Incarcerated People's Party. I am also a county commissioner in Alameda County, California, on the Reparations Commission. And I'm here to talk to you a little bit about the importance of education inside prisons. Yes, I think incarcerated persons, when I think about the importance of education for those inside, it's twofold. One is, we have an expectation that people will one day be released, and that when they are released, they should come home better than they were before they left. So you have to factor in a person that goes to state prison is going to spend over a year inside prison. And of course, we know in today's times, it's going to be way more than a year if you end up in a state prison. However, what happens in between that time before you come home is going to be, it's going to determine greatly upon, what you're going to do when you come home, what options you'll have, what opportunities will be available to you. And education is a key component in that. I would say also that when it comes to building the character and building the self-esteem, the self-confidence for those who are serving time, that education is also a key component in developing the person. So I would say those are the main two reasons why we need education, higher education opportunities inside. I endorse College Guild because College Guild is providing educational opportunities for those inside and giving those opportunities no matter where you're at in the system. So you could be on the main line or you could be in solitary confinement. College Guild will provide you the materials that you need and give you someone outside to communicate with to assist you and facilitate the process of navigating what you may not be familiar with starting out. So I think College Guild is excellent in that they not only just provide you with the means, meaning the material, but they also facilitate the process through volunteers who participate one-on-one with individuals who are pursuing their education.
Hello, my name is Amee Schmidt. I am Associate Professor of English and Communications at Marshalltown Community College in Marshalltown, Iowa. Today, I'm here to talk to you about College Guild and how you can help this amazing organization provide life-changing education to incarcerated people across the country. So let's talk about education and what that means. It's a word I use every day, and the connotation is almost exclusively related to academics. But education is more than that. It's more than just academic learning. For instance, when we're born, we don't have any kind of education. What we learn through interaction with our parents, right? First, we get eye contact. We learn facial expressions. We learn through touch. We learn to talk by hearing the people around us speak, and we learn to speak back to them. When we start to toddle around, we also learn how to move our limbs and our bodies and to reach and grasp for things by watching the people around us do it. We finally get to school, and when we're there, our first interactions are with our friends, and that's how we learn to be social. We learn our social skills like through other humans. Then, as we're learning our first academic lessons, we see a person, a human being, in front of the classroom teaching us how to draw our letters, how to count objects, how to recognize shapes. The thing that's common in all of the ways that we learn is that there's always human interaction. We always learn through contact with other humans and our feedback that we get from other humans. This is why College Guild is so successful. They don't forget the fact that learners, incarcerated learners, are humans, and they focus their programs on the humanity of the learners that are there and making those programs important. They cover academics, of course, but they also cover interpersonal and social skills, providing those lessons that will help these people when they come out into society. The academic programs are incredibly successful in and of themselves. We see a lot of content that's related to personal growth in the workforce. So practical skills that are going to move them forward in the workforce and in life that will help them be successful. But perhaps more importantly, their programs focus on interpersonal interaction, right? So they're teaching people, they're keeping people informed and social while they're incarcerated. That to me seems like something that is so essential to a person's success when they come out into the real world, or just success in a life-enhancing experience, right? For those people who are in solitary confinement, possibly who have life sentences, they may never enter the workforce, but they still need enriched and fulfilled lives as human beings. That's another key element of College Guild that I'd like to talk about, is that they're one of a few organizations in the country providing education to people in solitary confinement. These humans that are alone, 23 hours a day, sometimes less, they're getting real feedback from real people. The volunteers at College Guild get the units back from the prisoners and then give feedback on an individual level, so that the people who are learning are gaining human interaction, right? The way that we learn as humans is through human interaction, and College Guild has found a way to make that happen. And it's incredibly obvious that the volunteers for College Guild care very much for the people that they're helping. It's clear also that you care too, which is why you're watching this video right now. I care, which is why I'm doing this video right now. And you can help. College Guild has operated for 20 years as a nonprofit and has had enormous success. Research shows that prisoners who complete educational programs while incarcerated are 50% less likely to go back to prison. That's huge, right? That means that the learners, the incarcerated humans who are learning through College Guild, are going to be that much more successful when they come out, because College Guild has helped build that bridge. That transition is easier for them. They have a bridge that they didn't have before. And you can help build that bridge by donating to College Guild. You can be part of a success story for another human being. I hope that you consider supporting College Guild today, and I want to say thank you for your support of College Guild and your support of education in this country.